Hello, ladies and gents, boys and girls, people of all ages, sexualities, and identities, and welcome back to another Doctor Who review. And today we're back with another William Hartnell story. It's time for the Edge of Destruction. So, what is the Edge of Destruction about, you may be asking? Well, the Doctor has just let Ian and Barbara on the Tardis, and after their first adventure, he must now test to see how well their relationship with Susan and himself works. But what he doesn't expect is what's about to happen next. The doors begin to open by themselves, and the ship begins to flurry into a scene of panic. The crew eventually manage to lock the doors, but it feels like an unearthly presence has come aboard. After Ian and Barbara try to relax, suddenly they begin to notice uneasy senses between the Doctor and Susan. They become dehumanized and begin to act irrational. Even at one point when Barbara goes to talk to Susan, all of a sudden, Susan seems to have a pair of scissors in her hand and is trying to murder the rest of the crew. This is a gut-wrenching and thriller-packed action story, in which the crew must truly try and trust each other, or maybe they will just tear each other apart in the process. The Doctor bumps his head and all of a sudden picks Susan's side over the two strangers. He begins to call them liars and says that they have done all of this in an attempt to steal his ship. The paranoia begins to grow and grow and grow, and tensions grow between the crew until eventually, by the end of the story, they eventually begin to trust each other and realise that maybe it was just the ship the whole time. The Edge of Destruction is one of those stories I like because the paranoia of it is so brilliant. I really wish we had something similar to it in the modern series. This idea of constantly feeling like people have opened the doors or are playing tricks on one another, and that paranoia escalating amongst the crew, really reminds me of things such as Alien and The Thing, and a lot of other stories in which people become dehumanized. And Carol Ann Ford stands apart from all of the actors in this, especially because of the way that she goes from this calm girl who just has a headache to she's literally pulling out a pair of scissors and trying to kill the crew. I also love how this tests how well Barbara and Ian know the Doctor and Susan, especially as they've just left Earth. They're in this kind of limbo situation where they're trying to figure out where things are going next. And then all of a sudden, these two people from another world who they've tried to trust are suddenly turning and switching on them, which makes them believe that maybe it's because their customs are different or something, but maybe there's just something not quite right here. The way that the set team worked back then to just make the TARDIS so eerie in this episode is what I love. It gives me that kind of gothic feel and that kind of dark foreboding sense. The way that this constant nagging at people to maybe make you believe there's an entity on the TARDIS making them all act this way kind of reminds me of the paranoia that we have in Midnight. It also reminds me of a little bit of the paranoia in the Sensorites when they don't quite know that the Sensorites exist and they start to believe everyone on the space station is just going crazy. And for that reason, I give The Edge of Destruction a solid 10 out of 10. Thank you for watching. We'll see you in the next Doctor Who review.